which is a beautiful thing. Dawn is the award-winning author of Women Transform Ourselves, Transform the World, podcast and radio host, TEDx speaker, creator of Radiant Face 18, and co-founder of New World Women. Dawn is facilitating a free online 12-week book study of The Golden Future by Diana Cooper. So we begin living in a golden new world of fifth dimensional energy. That sounds wonderful. Wonderful gift for people. And you can learn more about all of this and more about Dawn Morningstar at newworldwomen.com. Lake Harriet Spiritual Community, please help me welcome Dawn Morningstar.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I am just recovering from laryngitis, so I'm going to affirm that my voice is going to stay very pleasant for each of you to hear. For those of you who were on the call on Tuesday evening, Ella, I know you were one of them for the Golden Future. It was really challenging because I sounded like a little squeak every now and then. So it's really good to have our voice. So before I get to this hopefully beautiful and helpful information that I've prepared, I wanted to say, I guess it's a question to Gary. Who picks these topics, aging gracefully? Is that your idea, Gary? He's not saying. So it's an interesting one because I thought about it, and aging gracefully, for me, has become something that has a lot to do with humor, laughing at myself. Not laughing at others, but laughing at myself. So for example, as I was getting dressed today, I was thinking, well, I want to wear something that looks kind of like fall, and I had like 5 outfits picked out. I don't know if men do that, but I think a lot of women I know do that. And I want it to be a delight for you to look at me while I'm up here so that your eyes are entertained. So I get my little outfit on. This was the third of the 5. And I put it on. I'm like, yeah, this feels really nice. It's got a nice flow to it. And then I was like, what shoes go with this? And so look at these little moon boot kind of shoes I have on. And I put them on, and I had gotten them at Goodwill a long, long time ago because I thought they were really cute, and they were $6, and I thought, wow, that's a real deal. I've put them on and taken them off probably 10 times since I've had them because I look down and I'm like, are they too young for me? Are they too this? Are they too that? And then I remember my daughter Lindsay many years ago as I was starting to age and was a little confused about how to dress. I had this outfit on, and I said to Lindsay, Linz, is this like too young, too youthful? She said, Mama, you just rock that outfit. She said, it doesn't matter, you just rock it. So that's how I am thinking of aging, is that we rock that. We, take that thing that is us, and we bring it forward into the world with confidence and grace and love. So now on to the prepared comments. So obviously, I am always really happy when I come here. I love the people who come here because I know that we are all in a place of awakening and a place of being aware so that we can live more conscious and beautiful lives. And I'm also going to affirm right now that something in what I share with you today has meaning for you. And so let's affirm that together, that you are here because you were drawn to something that would really support you on your journey right now. So when I was invited to speak about aging gracefully, I thought, well, that's really lovely. And then I thought about the fact that people have been thinking about aging ever since people became aware that they were aging, right? And so a lot of times when we're thinking about aging gracefully or aging at all, it can be about how to look more youthful. It's more about looks, or it can be. And that can be about like how to stretch, what to eat, what skincare to use, how to keep up with like the latest anti-aging miracles that we have. But then I thought to myself, what if for today we talk about aging a little bit differently? And so I'd like you to take a moment and reflect on someone in your life that you've met along the way, maybe when you were a child, or someone you learned about, doesn't have to be somebody you met in person, who was in advanced years, who had been on the planet for a longer time, and that person had some kind of a spark about them. Can you picture someone in your mind like that? Yes? Okay. So what was it? What was that spark? What made that person interesting to you? And so the person who comes to mind for me is someone who's just left the planet, and that's Jane Goodall. I mean, that woman, she just had something. She had this light inside of her. And I'm a word nerd, so I love that her last name was Goodall. I mean, come on, that's just perfect, right? So anyway, so what is that thing inside of a person who has been on the planet for many years that has that kind of radiance or light? Well, that's what it is. You're seeing their radiance, you're seeing their light. And so what if aging is about revealing our radiance, our true essence? What if that's what it's all about? Because, then there are times where we can think about this, that this radiance and essence within us can be revealed sometimes only over time, because time has polished it and refined it, right? So that's a really lovely way, I think, to think of aging. And so it can be a returning home to our essence. Aging can be thought of in that way. And in today's time together, I'll share a few revelations about, or reflections, I should say, and an exercise for you to do, to think about your own place in life, where you are in regard to how many years you've been on the planet and what your experiences are like, and a short meditation at the end to close. And so we'll start off by thinking about this idea of doing versus being. I'm sure many of you have heard that concept before, right? We're always doing, and what is it like to just simply be? And so in our younger years, and there are a lot of younger people here, we're mostly in the energy of doing, right? We're chasing our dreams. We're beginning to find ourselves. We are building our careers. We might be raising a family, or we might be, getting our nest, our home together and set up. So it's a very, very busy time. And we're also maybe trying to prove ourselves to ourselves or to family members. There can be that going on as well. And then, this is all really beautiful. This is a very exciting time in our lives, right? But then something starts to shift. We've got it pretty much figured out. If we have raised families, then they're kind of on their own. We don't feel a need to prove ourselves as much. So a lot of that busyness has just really kind of moved to the side. And then we find ourselves in this other place, which is really quite magical if we can see it that way. Obviously, and this is not in my notes because you know me, anybody who's heard me speak, I don't stay on task very often, but our culture just is not so cool about aging. It's just really, it's just ridiculous. And, no matter how enlightened we are, it still is somehow, it seeps in somehow. So let's just maybe think about it differently and see if we can't crack the code on this and maybe shift that energy, because we are very powerful in that way. So here we are, we've shifted, we've gone through this youthful state, or those who are watching or here who are still in that stage. It's a beautiful thing. This is the way it should be for you. This is exactly how it should be. So then we also start to see that life is not, we're not measuring our own lives based on accomplishments, but by our presence. Think about that for a minute. It's not what we're accomplishing. It's who we are being. It is our presence. Are we the one who, when we walk into a room, we shift the energy in a beautiful way? That's presence. So then we also start to see that it's not about what we're gathering anymore, but about what we're letting go. Is anybody in that space? Letting go? So many of my friends are like going through their houses and like getting rid of stuff. Some of my friends are allowing people to move out of their lives that no longer serve them. So there's a lot of that letting go. And I remember I read this book, oh my gosh, a million years ago it seems now, by a woman named Catherine Ponder. Don't recall the name of the book. But she was talking about a pond and how a pond stays healthy. She said that a pond needs to have some new things introduced and some things that are stable within the pond, and some things that are stagnant and will just die off and leave. And I feel like that, to me, speaks to this idea of this constant change, where we are bringing things in, we are letting things go. That's being healthy. It's only when we start clinging to things that we get stuck. And that is why you might see two people who are 83 years old. Was that how old the woman was last night for the party that they had here in their 80s? We could see two people who are 83 years old, for example, and one looks like she is just ready to fall over and be done with life, right? And the other one is dancing circles around you. So what's the difference between those people? You know, if we think back to Jane Goodall, she was passionate. That's why she was so alive. That was that spark we saw in her eyes. Her essence showed through. So I came up with this phrase, which I thought was kind of interesting, that we spend the first half of our lives adding to ourselves and the second half removing what's not true for us anymore. And this can be true, this is the phrase, of possessions, people, or patterns. So I love alliteration like that. So, and isn't that grace? I mean, you know, this theme is aging gracefully. And so isn't grace is releasing what is heavy and unnecessary so that what's real can shine through. I think that's what we're really trying to accomplish at any stage in our lives, but to be authentic. I have heard, like from 3 different sources, from spiritual leaders, that the highest form of spirituality, I mean, I thought they were going to say love. I mean, of course, that's obviously right up there. But the highest form of spirituality is authenticity. Take that in for a minute. Being real. Allowing your essence to shine through. Yeah, right? It's kind of cool. Okay, so Samuel Ullman said, "We do not grow old by living a number of years. We grow old when we desert our ideals." We do not grow old by living a number of years. We grow old when we desert our ideals. So Grace in aging means returning to our ideals more fully than we ever have before. Not the naive ones of youth, but the wise ones that have surpassed and survived every disappointment in our lives. And we still sparkle and shine. When we move from doing to being, we start to taste life differently. We taste life differently. We begin to find joy in smaller things. The morning light, a day like today, a bird outside the window, a quiet cup of tea with a friend. We find joy in what is real. We find joy in what is authentic. Have you noticed that since you've been on the planet more and more days, years, whatever, that the things that used to bring you joy don't seem to bring you joy anymore? Like things that when you were younger, like for example, one example that a woman gave me was, she said, when I was younger, I used to love to go party with my girlfriends. You know, we'd go out and we'd drink wine and we'd dance the night away. And she said, it was fun. We had so much fun. She said, but that holds no interest for me anymore. The same thing can be true of television, like, or shows that you watch, like shows that you used to really enjoy. You may look at them now and say, it just doesn't feel aligned with me anymore. Doesn't mean you have to give up watching things because it's entertaining. I enjoy it myself. But I've noticed that I am paying more attention to what I'm letting in to my auric field. Is it junk? Is it fearful? Is it, painting the picture of an ugly world? I don't think I want that in my energetic field. So I just say no to it. And that's different. I used to like to watch all different kinds of things. And I would tell myself, oh, this is being well-rounded. And, it's fine. No judgment here. It's just as we are on the planet more, becoming more authentic and really moving into our essence and our wisdom, we begin to understand the power of our choices. This is fun too. Our souls become connoisseurs of simplicity and what is real. Let your soul become a connoisseur of what's real and what is simple. We complicate our lives, and then we wonder why we're all frazzled. We don't need to do that. Simple is best. There's some, is it an Amish song? Maybe somebody in here knows. And I'm certainly not going to sing it for you, but 'tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free. Has anybody ever heard that? 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free. Isn't that true? I remember when I first heard it, I thought, oh, that's cute. And now I'm like, oh yeah, I think I kind of get this, right? So in the aging process, we may feel that we're slowing down a little bit, and sometimes that's the appropriate thing to do. But what if it's not that we're actually really slowing down? What if we're waking up, continuing to wake up to what's real and true? Not like rushing all the time, but kind of slowing down. And there's this whole movement about living slow cooking. People are starting to really pay attention to that a little bit more. So you might be sitting in your seat as a younger person and saying, I'm doing many of these things right now. Yay. Yay. You don't have to wait till you're in your later years to figure this out. As a matter of fact, I'm seeing like a lot of babies and young children now, they are they are really wise already. And so that's telling me that we don't have to keep going through all this hard stuff to get to the wisdom part. We can claim it now. So, and this wisdom is also part of the awakening that's going on in our world. So now we'll talk a little bit about the alchemy of acceptance. If you think of aging as seasons, which many people do, have you ever noticed that nature never apologizes for change? It just does it, like the trees that are outside right now. They are not out there like desperately clinging to the tree, saying, I'm not going to let myself fall. No, they are understanding that this is a part of a cycle, and they're not resisting what's happening. Resistance is very aging also, and not in a positive way. And so the leaves, they let themselves go with this beautiful majesty almost and color, and and then what they're doing is they're revealing to us, and nature's always doing this. That's why nature is so important. Mary Newstrom, who has spoken here many times before, Dr. Mary Newstrom, she talks about nature as the greatest healer. And it really is true. Nature also gives us lessons if we are paying attention. And so this deeper beauty in nature that we're seeing is because there's not resistance. And when we resist aging, when we resist change, we suffer. And suffering makes us look and act and feel old, and not in the good way. So when we accept the truth of impermanence, that's when we awaken to alchemy. Everything is changing and shifting. And those leaves, they're obviously going to fall down to the ground, and at some point, they will become compost for what's to come next. Right? So I want to talk about skin. I mean, I'm the creator of a wonderful Radiant Face 18, beautiful, high vibration face cream. It's lovely, it's great. I don't put it on my skin thinking, oh, when I put this on, I'm gonna look 20 years younger. I know that's not possible or true. Because when I look at the lines on my face, and I hope you can do this too, what I'm seeing is the stories of my life reflected on my face. The laughter, the joy, the sorrow, all of it is on my face. It's the scripture of my soul written on my face. Why would I want to put Botox in my face and all of that? Again, I don't throw shade on people's experiences. I'm just saying let's really look, or choices I meant. Let's just really look. What are we doing here? Why are we erasing our experience here on this planet? Why is youth the only thing to be valued? It doesn't make any sense. So Rumi says, I love Rumi, the wound is the place where the light enters you. And I would add that the lines on our faces is where life has entered us. Life has entered us. We can't control time, but we can control how we hold time. With clenched fists or with open palms. Grace flows through open palms, not clenched fists. Now the deepening of the vision. As we age, our vision changes, sometimes literally. Has anyone noticed how reading is just a little more challenging than it used to be? Well, that came to me in a funny way. So I've always been really nearsighted my whole life until I had corrective surgery. Thank goodness for that. That was pretty cool. And before that, though, I always wore glasses or contact lenses. And so at night, I would take my contact lenses out, and I'd have my glasses on. And so one day, I realized I couldn't read what was in my book anymore. So the next day, I went to Walgreens and got cheaters, and I tried all the different ones on, and I had my contact lenses on, and I'm like, oh my God, I can actually see the words on the page. It's like a miracle. And so I bought the little cheaters, and I bring them home, and that night, wash my face, take out my contact lenses, have my regular glasses on, and I'm laying in bed, and I've got the book, and I needed both the cheaters and the others in order to be able to see. Here I am with my book and 2 pairs of glasses on, and my daughter walked in. And she walked in, she went, no, Mom, what is this? What are you doing? And I said, I'm just trying to read a book, honey. But what I realized was, as my physical vision began to blur a little bit more, that's when my inner vision started to truly, truly become more clear. This whole thing about, a lot of people say, that we really enter our wisdom years at certain points, 40s or 50s. I think this is true, and maybe somebody here knows, but I've been told that belly dancer women are not allowed to be a belly dancer until they're 40, like in certain cultures. And that is because that is when they have their wisdom. And so I thought that was kind of interesting, because if you've ever watched a belly dancer, yeah, sure, it's titillating and sexy and beautiful, but they've got some certain kind of wisdom about them. And so maybe that is why, because they are waiting until they have really drunk in a whole lot of life before they get up there and move their bodies. So here we are talking about aging, and not everyone here is in that space of aging, but you will be, hopefully. If life is good to you and you get to keep living, then you will be. And you get to choose how you're going to do it. And so what you hear today as a young person, carry it with you, so that you choose how you are going to experience life as an older person. So we're going to do 2 inner reflections. Well, one is an inner reflection and one is a meditation. And I thought about it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, Dawn, is that too much doing 2? Like 1 could be enough. But then I was thinking about those ice skaters. And you know how sometimes they do like a double axel, and they come down and they do another one? So I figured we'll do 2 of those beautiful, beautiful things. So if you're comfortable closing your eyes, you can go ahead and do that. And if you're not, just have a gentle gaze. Take a deep, slow breath, very consciously. And bring your mind to a younger version of yourself. Maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, depending on your age now. See that you very clearly. Your hopes, your insecurities, your energy. What did that younger you long for then? Were you looking for love or freedom or success or confidence, peace? Now gently recognize how life has already answered some of those prayers, some of those requests, some of those heart's desires. Maybe not in the way you expected, but in the way your soul needed. Maybe not in the way you expected, but in the way your soul needed. Every challenge has taught you something. Every heartbreak has softened you. Every mistake has opened you for compassion for yourself and perhaps for others. Whisper to your younger self, "Thank you for letting me get this far, and now I am ready to consciously grow more fully into myself. Knowing myself is the path to my happiness, and my happiness elevates the world around me." Now in your heart, say to yourself, "Right now the grace that I am growing into is," and then let a word arise. Trust whatever word comes first. The grace that I am growing into now is. Take another conscious breath and let that word settle deep inside you. It's your seed of grace. Now take another breath and slowly open your eyes, being very present to this moment. As we are on this planet longer, we may see and live from the sacred, hidden right there in the ordinary. This may be because the busyness of distractions is lessening. And what we want to make sure we do is don't fill that busyness with more busyness. Feeling like every second has to be filled with something. I get it. I have to be really careful with social media personally. I really do. I'm so in love with humanity. I love hearing what people are saying and doing and creating. And I can justify spending 45 minutes looking at what everybody's doing and saying. And that's fine if I choose to do that from time to time. But I also ask myself the question, am I doing this to avoid life in some way? Am I keeping myself so distracted and busy that I'm not letting the sacred come in? And when we answer that question very honestly with ourselves, that's when we can really come up with a sense of peace or live in a sense of inner peace. It doesn't mean that we're perfect beings, because we're not. But it can mean that we are authentically lovely humans who love ourselves and are happy with who we are. Because when we're happy like that, that really impacts everyone around us. And it actually impacts the world that we're living in. It's not airy-fairy, it's real. Happy people don't cause pain to others. Why would you? It's ridiculous. So be happy. Figure out what that is for you. So, some people might say, well, geez, Dawn, yeah, you can talk about all this and rationalize being, how great aging is and all of that, and, in your nearly 70 years on this planet, but like what choice do you have really? Because you're getting old, Dawn. You kind of got to do it, right? Right? Well, like I said before, I'm blessed to still be here on this planet. Mother Earth invites us to come here. We get to be here. This is amazing. It's said that Mother Earth is one of the only places, if not the only place, in the entire cosmos that has this kind of experience with senses and experiences like we get to have. So what a blessing it is that we get to experience it for as many years as we are here. And so I'm not rationalizing getting older. Would I like to have more energy sometimes? Heck yeah. Would I like to have some of my beauty from earlier in my life show up when I look in the mirror? Sure, I would. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. But what I can say with complete honesty and truth is I have never been more authentically myself than I am now. And it feels so good. It feels so good to be whole. It feels so good to be alive. It feels so good to be a positive influence in the world. And when my day comes, when it's time for me to leave, because I'm closer to that day than many of you here in this room are, I am so fine with that. I really, truly am. I have no fear because I've lived every day to the best of my ability. And I'm doing that more and more and more now. And I know when I leave here, this isn't it. This is not it. This is a step along the way. This is a great ride being here. It's lovely. It's fabulous. But I know my soul is curious to see what other things are out there in the cosmos. And since we are eternal and infinite, we get to have all these different experiences. So I cherish the time that I'm here so much. And I invite each one of you to do that in the best ways that you know how. Without fear. Please let go of the fear. There really is nothing to fear. Truly nothing to fear. I have two fears, okay? One is riding in a hot air balloon. Won't do it. Doesn't make sense to me. Sorry, not doing it. And the other is that my cell phone is going to go off at a vastly inappropriate time. Those are my two fears in life. But I'm not afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of getting older because I know that fear doesn't serve anything for any of us. All right, so we're going to do this meditation, and then we will go on with a little extra inspiration in our hearts. So let's close our eyes again or gaze at something. Taking a nice big deep breath in and let it soften you from the inside out. Imagine yourself standing in a soft field of golden light. This light is your awareness. It's timeless, it's spacious, it's unchanging. Around you, the seasons of your life unfold. Childhood, youth, love, loss, laughter, learning, wisdom. Each season is a petal in the great flower of your soul, none more valuable than another. Feel the warmth of this light moving through your heart, through your mind, through every cell of your being. Sense that beneath every change, every wrinkle, every story, every experience, there is a radiance in you that is untouched by time. You are not your age. You are not your appearance. You are the presence looking out through all the years. Feel that truth in your bones. I am timeless. I am a timeless presence in a changing form. Softly say to yourself, I age in grace. I age in beauty. I age in peace. Take one more deep, loving breath. And as you exhale, imagine light spreading from your heart into the hearts of each person in this room, filling this entire building with the vibration of love and light, radiance, essence. And allow that feeling to go out and out, all the way into the cosmos. And with another breath, feel yourself fully present in your extraordinary body. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you, beloved ones, for going on this journey together today. It feels really good. And when we leave here, we get to go outside into a beautiful day. And I do invite each one of you to join me for the Golden Future book study. It's free. It's on Zoom. Just go to newworldwomen.com. We are approaching, this Tuesday will be week 3, but it's okay. You can get caught up, and there are replays free for 30 days that you can watch. It's my blueprint for how to not only age more gracefully, but to co-create the world that we really want to see from a 5th dimensional energy perspective. I'd love to see you there. It's open to everyone. New World Women is a women's organization, but we have opened this to everyone. And may you see every passing year as another brushstroke in the masterpiece of your becoming. And I'm going to leave you with these words from Rumi. Again, I love him so much. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. Thank you. I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Dawn. That's wonderful. I feel kind of relaxed now.
Good.
Yeah.
Hope I didn't put you to sleep.
No, not at all. It's quite wonderful, isn't it? I'm just going to sit now for a moment. No, each week is like this. We get 45 minutes of wonderful, challenging discussion and presentation from talented people like Dawn. And it is just a blessing to be here and to be able to experience this. This is the time I would remind you that Lake Harriet is funded by your donations. And in a moment, the ushers are going to come down and we'll pass the basket. We have technology. We have Venmo. You can scan the little QR code in Venmo if you like. You can also go to the website where there's a Donate Now button that you can find. If you'd like to become a regular donor, or just give what you can when you can. And sometimes that's volunteering. I'm a volunteer, Gary, everybody's a volunteer around here. And you find the more you come here, the more wonderful people that you meet and all the gifts that they have to bring, and it's a wonderful thing. So we're going to pass the hat and listen to a little bit of music, and thank you very much.
Well, her job was no more than a cubicle, the opposite of beautiful. Her soul for a check, but her smile tells you that she found a deeper will she didn't know she had until the day that she left. And even though she's flying high, she can't help but wonder why it took her half her lifetime just to find out she could let herself learn how to be real, to be radiant, to be elegant in her clumsy kind of way. Oh, here's to how it feels to be real. Well, her year has been all about the starting over, building up and letting go, and lots left to do. So some days she'll just toss aside the calendar, get lost in Mary Oliver the whole afternoon, writing poetry in blocks, riding in her car with dogs who stick their noses out the window all the way to town. Even they can show her how.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gary. Now you might raise your hands and repeat after me. God's perfect love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Thank you. Now, as we like to do at Lake Harriet, we're going to make a small circle. We're going to join our hands and join our energy, and Miss Morningstar is going to send us off. We'll have to cut through. Maybe Dawn or someone here can help direct the cut through for the circle.
I think they can figure it out.
Some weeks we are challenged.
Just grab a hand and form a circle. We can do this. Oh, maybe you were right. There we go. Lovely. Okay. So let's think to ourselves and feel it in our bones. I am authentic. You can repeat. I am love. I am radiance. I am here to change the world for good. And so it is. Oh, okay.